Hi everyone, Sarah Wolf here with Hendricks County Parks and Recreation. Thanks for joining me today for Nature's Mythbusters. I'm sorry we can't do this in person, but hopefully you will enjoy it online. If you have any questions, you can post those in the comments section and I'll try to answer those as best I can. Today I'm going to address some common myths related to nature. I plan to cover these questions. Are bats blind? Can dogs see color? Are daddy longlegs the most venomous spider in the world? Aren't all snakes poisonous? Can toads give you warts? Do raccoons wash their food or hands before eating? Will baby birds be rejected by their mother if handled? You might have heard people say, "Oh, you're as blind as a bat." But where does that come from? And are bats really blind? No, they are not blind. Bats can see about as well as any other mammal. If all bats were blind, they wouldn't have eyes, such as this Hoosier cavefish. They live in caves and they do not have eyes because of the total darkness in caves. To find their food, bats here in Indiana use something called echolocation. They are looking for flying insects such as moths, mosquitoes, and beetles. So bats make a high-pitched noise that we can't typically hear with our ears. This noise goes out into the air, and then when these sound waves hit different objects, those echoes bounce back to the bat's very large ears. Bats can tell exactly what is in front of them. They can tell if there's a small moth flying towards them or away from them. They can tell if there's a tree in the way. Good thing, because they would run into trees in the forest if they couldn't do that. They can tell if there's a large barn. They can tell if there's a person in front of them. And bats don't want to get near people because they don't eat us. But sometimes they're attracted to the mosquitoes, which are also attracted to our breath that we're exhaling. So bats sometimes will swoop close to people, but it's not because they want to get in our hair or bother us in any way. They're just coming to get the bugs that are annoying us. So bats are not blind, and they use something kind of like sonar to find their food. Our next myth is, are dogs colorblind? Like in this little funny picture here, the bird is saying, "Well, dogs and cats are colorblind. I'm invisible." So is this true? Before I answer the question, are dogs colorblind, let's take a look at what makes up our eyes. Let's look at the cells in our eyes. So we have two different types of cells in our eyes. The first type are called rods. Those are used for seeing shapes. They're better for dim light situations, and we use them on the sides of our eyes. You can see those indicated with the gray color in that eyeball on the picture there. Cones are more in the center of our eyeballs, and these are used for seeing color. They're better in bright light situations, and they're more of our center vision. Dogs have more rods than we do. They have two types of cones, and they're really red-green colorblind. Humans have three types of cones. So you can see here what our normal range of color for human eyes is. And then you can see what a dog typically will see. So the dogs really just can't see very bright, brilliant colors, and they're more just red and green colorblind. So dogs can see some color. Like this laughing dog says, "Roses are gray, violets are grayish blue. I'm a dog." While dogs can't see too much color, dogs and other animals have something called eyeshine. You might have noticed that dogs and sometimes other animals have reflective eyes in the dark. And it can look a little scary, but it's actually helping them see in the dark. So let's take a look at this diagram. Here's a picture of what an eye looks like inside. So light comes into the eye, as shown by these yellow arrows. Light comes into the eye, hits the back of the eye, And animals such as dogs and other animals have a membrane at the back of their eye. This acts like a mirror, and this reflects the light back out of the eye and helps them see in the dark. So this just allows nocturnal animals to see better in the dark than we can. All right, our next myth is, are daddy longlegs the most venomous spider in the world? And the answer is no, for several reasons. So first of all, let's clarify what animal we're actually talking about. So on the left-hand side there, labeled daddy longlegs or harvestmen, this is what I'm calling daddy longlegs. They actually have one body part, they have 8 legs, and they have 2 eyes. There's another animal that's kind of similar. It's called a cellar spider, sometimes also called a daddy longlegs. It has 2 body parts, 8 legs, and 6 to 8 eyes. So why are these animals that are not spiders not dangerous to people? For one, they eat decomposing plant and animal matter. They don't have webs, and they have no silk. They have no venom, and they have no fangs, and they are not the most poisonous spider because they are actually not even a spider. Let's just take another look at that cellar spider, sometimes called a daddy longlegs. These live in dark areas of houses or basements or cellars. Their legs are very long and delicate looking with bands of white and black at their joints. They have tangled, messy webs. They're not dangerous to people, although they sometimes eat black widow spiders. But cellar spiders' venom is really not very potent, even for spiders. So, are daddy longlegs the most venomous spider in the world? No, they're not, because they're not a spider. They have no fangs, and therefore they have no venom. Myth debunked. Here's a good one. This is, aren't all snakes poisonous? No, they're not. But first let's clarify a couple of terms. This snake pictured here is a timber rattlesnake. It's not poisonous, but it is venomous. Just as a side note, there are only 4 venomous snakes in Indiana. They are not common, and they're all protected. All right, let's define a few terms as far as toxin delivery methods go. So poisonous animals have poison that is either absorbed or ingested by their enemy. Poison is delivered by touching or eating this animal or plant. A venomous animal has venom that's always injected. This is delivered by fangs or stingers into their enemy. There are some animals that are both poisonous and venomous, such as the Asian tiger snake. More on the snake in a minute. Can toads give you warts? No, but you should avoid touching toads. Warts that you sometimes get on fingers are caused by a virus. So what are those bumps for anyway? These bumps on toads are actually glands that produce toxins which protect them. These glands are usually around the back of their head, which is perfect for releasing toxins when they're bitten. This is a thick, creamy white toxin, and this is harmful if swallowed or if it gets into eyes. Eggs and or tadpoles of some species have the same toxin to protect themselves. If your dog happens to get a hold of a toad, you definitely should call your veterinarian. And while you shouldn't be handling toads, if you did accidentally touch one, make sure you wash your hands. Some animals have adapted to use toad toxins. This Asian tiger snake can eat toads with no ill effect. It sequesters toxins into glands around its neck, making the snake poisonous to other animals that try to eat it. The mother snakes pass on the protective toxins to their babies. Do raccoons wash their food or hands before eating? After all, the species name means washer, and in German, raccoon is Waschbär, or washing bear. Raccoons are really not washing their food or their hands. Often they are foraging in water, and handling food helps them determine what it is and possibly to shake off some sand. They can manipulate food even when not near water. Will baby birds be rejected by their mother if you handle them? No, but don't handle birds unless absolutely necessary. Most songbirds have a poorly developed sense of smell. They can't actually smell humans, although there's always some exceptions. Turkey vultures, for instance, have an excellent sense of smell, and they use their noses to smell stinky food. Predators might follow a human scent back to the nest, which is a good reason to avoid touching baby birds. But what do you do if you find a baby bird? That is an excellent question. So unless a baby bird is obviously bleeding or has been attacked by a cat, normally it does not need to go to a licensed rehabilitator. I'll post a link to the licensed rehabilitators for Indiana in the notes. But most of the time, if a baby bird is found on the ground and you can find a nest, you can place it back in the nest. You can even make a replacement nest. And sometimes baby birds were just a little lazy and didn't want to fly. Mom and Dad will come find it and feed it. I hope you enjoyed joining us online for this Nature's Mythbusters program. Tell us what you learned. What did you not know before listening to this program? Check our website, www.hendrickscountyparks.org, for other fun programs in person, maybe online, and for other announcements. We'll talk to you